workshop.
Public input. Citizens may address the council regarding any item of city business that is not on tonight's agenda. The duration for an individual speaking under public input is limited to 3 minutes. While all comments are welcome, the council will not take action on any item not on the agenda. If a citizen would like to speak or comment regarding an item that is on tonight's agenda, we ask that you wait until the agenda item is presented to the council and the public is asked to comment. Once again, each speaker is limited to 3 minutes. Be advised if a discussion item has an upcoming public hearing, we would request members of the public to reserve your comments until the public hearing. At the public hearing, the City Council will establish an official record that will include all of your comments, testimony, and written evidence. The City Council will base its decision on the record created during the public hearing. Any comments provided tonight will not be included in the record or considered by the City Council. Also, if you want to speak and you want your information kept on the public record, please come forward, state your name and your address and the reason why you are talking so that your comments can be included in the public record. Under general items, we have the reappointment of Ken Olson to the Cemetery Commission for a 2-year term ending June 30th, 2021. And I believe in your packets, you all got the standard document requesting reappointment. Are there any questions? Executive review. Motion to approve Council Member Closey to be absent from the City of Laurel for more than 10 days. Mr. Closey, would you like to comment on this request?
I'm going to start out by leaving tomorrow for the State American Legion tournament, convention. And then when that's over, I'm going to take my wife on a tour across the High Line to show her what she's not missed.
Yeah.
Maybe we should die for Christmas, save the 4 1.
I know.
That's what goes brown.
All righty. Well, we all have a chance to deny that then next week. Okay. Next, we have a resolution of the City Council granting permission for a property owner to utilize decorative concrete within the boulevard that adjoins the owner's property located in the City of Laurel. And we do have Mr. Guptill here, and we also have Nick, our city planner, here. So which one of you gentlemen would like to go first? Mr. Guptill? All right.
So I'm Josh Guptill, 401 East 4th Street. I'm redoing my city sidewalks right now. I do concrete for a living. I own my own business. I bought that house years ago for like $115,000. Been just trying to make it better and better over time. So I wanted to do some exposed aggregate, do tree rings around my trees, kind of make it look better for the neighborhood, look better for me, for the City of Laurel, and just make it nicer, you know, and less weeds for in the boulevard. So I was just going to see if I could get approved to do that today.
Okay, now you do need to understand that this is a workshop. We'll be gathering all the information today, excuse me, and we will not be deciding today. That will come next week.
Oh, okay.
Next week we vote on this. But we do appreciate your input. And does anybody have any questions of Mr. Guptill? Okay, thank you very much. Nick, come forward, please.
So I spoke with Kurt, the Public Works Director. Also, by the way, sorry, thanks for being here. Good to see all of you. So the current city's code, as you know, Mr. Guptill has done, is up to you to grant a variance for the Boulevard Code for that all boulevards will be kept in grass and trees, which is in, I believe it's our Streets and Sidewalk Code, Chapter 12, Chapter 1232. And so right now, kind of what's been discussed with the Public Works Director and myself was that we're actually planning an update for the boulevard, sidewalks, streets, and kind of the standards and regulations, kind of dealing with all of the streets, sidewalks, curb, and gutter. So we're hoping to task KLJ with a task order in July for this. And, you know, reviewing it, I believe it's a pretty worthwhile thing, cutting down on maintenance, beautifying the sidewalk, especially with it in its current state that he's gonna be working on the sidewalk anyways. Now, my personal opinion, a lot of variances usually beget more variances because people see a change and they say, oh, well, I would like to do that as well. So it can be a tricky thing, granting variances, just because it might cause more changes that might not be as controlled as you'd like it to be. So, you know, there's been some back and forth with the Public Works Director and myself about the applicability right now versus after we might revamp the code with dryscaping, xeriscaping, you know, other options for that. But I'm generally in support of it. The upgrade, the replacing the grass and trees with concrete. I just think that sometimes it's good to be a little wary of granting variances sometimes because of what other people might see that. But in this circumstance, I think it'll be okay because we're going to be updating the code soon anyways. So it'll kind of smooth this whole thing over, if that makes sense.
I see Mr. Closey has a question.
Would this involve cementing over the water shut-off valve?
I can answer that question.
Just step on back up, yeah.
I do have a curb stop. I talked to the water guy that marks them the other day. My curb stop is not a normal curb stop. It's a PVC pipe with the curb stop screwed on top. So I have already purchased a water monument, and then I can set it over the curb stop, and it has a lid, and it's like 6" by 6" round, where there will still be easy access to it. And then I will have it at the grade of my sloped concrete, so it's flush.
Okay.
Yes, Councilmember Monsieur.
Thank you. Is it possible you could take some pictures of this area that he's talking about and present to the council next meeting?
Yeah, that's possible. Yeah, I can stop over there. And I would also say, yeah, I don't know if you have any pictures of what it might look like or examples. That might also help just for what we have.
everything on my phone right now.
Oh, okay. So yeah, we could probably do that for next week, is take pictures of what it looks like now, get what you're thinking of what it's gonna look like, and then put that together, because I think the work is fine. I just think, you know, granting a variance sometimes can be tricky, but it's just making sure that it's proper, especially with the impending, you know, planned update to the code. With stuff like that. But I can definitely prepare some pictures and take a look at the site and present that next time.
Does anyone else have any questions? If not, I have one. So you are stating that you think that it's a good plan and that there would not be a problem in granting this individual variance. If we were to do that then with the pending changes, does it mean that we'll have to grant a variance every time there is a new request?
No, well, it would depend on what the future code looks like. I think that we're gonna develop a boulevard code that's gonna be a bit more robust, because as it currently states, all boulevard areas must be kept in grass and trees unless specific permission is granted by the city council for other purposes, which it's very open-ended, so that leaves a lot of room for interpretation and, asking for variances, asking for changes. So I think the plan is for KLJ to help us develop something that's a bit more controlled, but has better, to help us regulate it better when people do have different ideas besides grass and trees. So I don't think it will lead to more variances down the road with that change in mind.
Okay, all right. Last chance, no more questions? We're letting you off easy. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Next item on the agenda is a resolution of the City Council authorizing the mayor to sign a contract with Encode Corporation for replacement of 2 condenser units at the FAP building. And I believe we have our clerk treasurer here.
Good evening, Council President Eaton, members of the council. We called over Encode the other day because we have one condenser unit over there that is completely shot. The other one has part of it that needs to be repaired, possibly. And Lucky with Encode told us that they could try and repair the one unit for $6,500 or replace both of them for approximately $10,000. It's kind of a no-brainer. Replace both of them for $10,000. Because the coolant for these units, they are so old that the coolant is not going to be produced anymore. So that tells you how old they are.
We're talking air conditioners.
Yes, sir. Yeah, so they really need to be replaced. They're hail damaged. When Lucky went up there, he said that it's really both of them are kind of both shot. He could try with one, but he highly doubts it's going to work.
Questions for Clerk Treasurer Langfey? All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, under council issues, we have an update on handicap parking lot. And I believe Nick is going to address that. And we also have Mr. Koch.
Yes. If you'd like to speak, Laurel. No, I want to hear this. Hold on 1 second. I have a concept plan for the updated parking that the Public Works Director had knocked up. Just this week.
Thank you.
Thank you. So this is just regarding it in general. So Kurt had kind of put together this draft, this concept plan for improving parking at that location at Thompson Park. We had spoken with the mayor on it. He had given approval just conceptually on the plan that it looks pretty good so far of what we're looking for. It almost, I think it doubles or more than doubles the parking currently, and it fits in there. And so we've got the concept sketch. We're going to keep playing around with it to just see, what works best and what can fit best. Especially, we've talked about drainage, trying, figuring out where the water goes and whatnot. But that right now, it's just making it the most appropriate and applicable plan. So the mayor's given approval, and so now Kurt will be working on calculating an estimate on the millings needed, the cost for signage and painting the lines and whatnot. But we believe this kind of fits a lot of what Mr. Koch had previously been talking about, is making more spaces, making it be more clear, having more accessibility for the ball fields that are nearby. We think it fits the bill pretty well. And we were actually out there today to just get some approximate measurements of the area, and I think it can fit what we've sketched in pretty decently. There's been plans, around some of the perimeter to make sure people don't just kind of roll through the parking spots, is put rocks in and gravel and to have it so that the directional arrows are actually used so we can control the traffic a little better when people are entering and leaving. But that'll be, of course, what we can get for the materials needed. So but we think this fits pretty well with the space, and especially when we went out and did a little bit of the measurements today. So.
Great. Yes, Mr. Wilkie.
So at the handicap, I see you got everything is at an angle, which was requested.
Mm-hmm.
So the ones that are on the street curb there, are those still going to be the handicap spots?
Yes, that's the plan, is keeping
Okay,
those.
and the
handicapped.
others will be for everybody,
Yes.
okay? I like that one there on the east end there. That'll keep them from parking on the grass. The last time I was over there at a ball game, they were parked on the grass.
Oh, yeah.
Also went by there when all clubs were here last week.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody was parked in that area. Nobody.
Really?
Not even, I take that back. There was one handicap car there. Everything else was completely empty.
Mm-hmm.
And they were all parked on the street. So whatever signage you put up already, they're paying attention to.
Yeah.
Finally.
And we might, and depending on what we'd like to do, it might be we could put parking for special events, because we know that if high schoolers, many times they see a parking spot, they'll take it. And so especially for events like track meets or something, we could put up special event parking only, or however we want to regulate it. We can figure that out as well. If for just the football games, or when there's a baseball game, or however we want to end up regulating it.
Questions? Yes,
So
Mr.
that per event, would that be a request?
We could, I think, just make signs and put them up there.
But still, you
Depending
still
on-
have to figure out a way.
Yeah.
When is it appropriate to do that? Who's gonna ask to do it? Who's gonna do it?
Yeah, that's just one of the options we've been thinking of, especially with it's so close to the school, and the lots can tend to fill up sometimes, just to make sure that people can use
It
it.
makes me nervous to have two ways of parking over there, because it's hard to control.
Mm-hmm.
When do I enforce this? When do I not have to enforce this?
Yeah.
Handicap generally is enforceable, period.
Yeah.
And if you change that,
Well, we would want the handicap to stay handicap all the time,
period.
but the other portion of it
Okay.
would
Yeah,
possibly
okay.
be for special event related.
Yeah, I'm okay with the rest of it being used as needed, but to me, the handicap spots have got to stay handicap.
Oh yeah, that has always been the plan. We've never wanted to
Very good, thank you.
mess with that and confuse people with that.
That's the point.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, Mr. McGee.
Yeah, Nick, so along the street, the change to an angle remains all the handicap spots. Then across the same parking lot, that's going to be additional parking for anybody first come, first served.
Yep.
And then this additional space carved out here is going to be first come, first served.
Yes.
And of course, traffic flow is going to be expected to follow the arrows.
Yes.
So if you come in from I guess it would be the east side, if you come in from the west, but if you come in from the east, you're coming in illegally against the flow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And there's really nothing to keep anybody, per se, from parking down beyond the spaces on that grassy area outside the ball field if they so choose.
Well, currently there's where that long arrow is near the exit. There is a gate there, and we plan on putting that
Okay.
down at the bottom so that they
Okay,
can't
so
access
the gate
the.
would come back beyond the new space.
Yes,
Yeah.
and all of that little exit street directly from that lot will be lined with, big rocks to make sure that people don't
Okay.
skirt around that and try and find some extra parking.
I see.
Excellent.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Thank you.
I like it.
Yes, Councilmember Stokes.
So are we losing 2 handicap spots then? The way it's gonna be designed?
I actually hadn't looked at this
I
until
count
about
15 handicap though, handicap spots.
The ones that were originally there right now, not the yellow. 17, we're losing
There were 17, now so we lose 2.
Right.
I think it's because of, Kurt had added in the, those caution blocks. And we can work with this and amend it as needed when we actually, take a better look at the grounds, because we kind of just went out today and did a really rough measurement of the area just to make sure we could kind of fit the addition in along the bottom of it and then that extra little lot.
That was my question is there, because of the stadium parking there, is there so many handicap spots that are required?
Yeah, and we'll deal with that and try and keep the amount up as much as possible. We don't want to take away any of the handicap spots. So.
I do see Mr. Koch in the audience. Did you want to comment on this?
Yeah.
All right.
I'm so excited about this. Carl Danco, 320 Colorado. That's what I started with 3 years ago, is changing it to angles so that we could get them in and out easy enough. And I even drew up something similar to this. I don't know if any of you still have that copy or not. I do have it. But what they've done here is increase the 10-footer approximately that I asked or suggested that we do, and took advantage of some property that can't be used for anything else because of the alkali coming up. So I think it's exciting. Number one is I have 5 more years of baseball with my grandson, so thank you there. And I'm sure that the parents and grandparents that we've met through all these years will be super excited to know that they have a place to park too. So I thank you guys for going forward with this.
And I would like to comment that staff has done a fantastic job on this. This is great. So it's good to see that that's coming along, and thank you. Next item is ordinance discussion, and I believe that's you again, Nick.
Which ordinance are we discussing? I don't know if I was prepped for that.
The little information that I got from the mayor, I thought that it was maybe a briefing on what you touched on with regard to the boulevards and the fact.
So for a few months, and the Mayor Nelson, sorry, I've been talking to Ken Olson a lot lately. The mayor had clued me into the fact that we were going to update a lot of our codes regarding landscaping and the boulevards. And so a lot what we had in mind was thinking towards dryscaping and xeriscaping to, especially for water, sustainability and things like that, to try and help give people more options for the boulevards that they're tasked with taking care of and upkeeping. And so as I kind of had mentioned previously, we'd like to make a code that is a little bit more robust, that gives people different options, and that, is more, and especially in regards to curbs and gutters, sidewalks. Technically, I believe our code regarding some of those dates to the mid-'80s, and standards that then are dating back to the mid-'70s. And so we're hoping to update some of that to be more modern and updated with current municipal needs for people's houses, how we live and commute and everything kind of under the sun. That's kind of where I've been clued into, if that makes any sense. And I've done some research regarding the dryscaping and xeriscaping efforts and different codes, so I'm a little versed in it, but we're hoping to get a little bit more work with KLJ to really hammer out that and help us update our standards and practices in regards to some of those. So,
Any questions? Well, thank you again.
thank you. It's a pleasure.
All right. We are down to other items. Councilmember Sparks, did you have anything? Councilmember Hur,
I have nothing.
Councilmember Wilkie,
I have nothing, sir. Thank you.
Councilmember Montier,
I pass, thank you.
Councilmember Closey, since you might be gone for 10 days.
I have nothing. Thank you.
Councilmember Stokes.
Just that the Parks Board meeting will be changed from July 4th to July 11th.
Alrighty, beautiful. Council Vice Chair McGee.
I do not have anything, Council President. Thank you.
Alrighty, well, I was handed a handy dandy little note here that there are all sorts of changes coming up. In addition to Council Member Stokes's Park Board meeting being changed to the 11th, we have the Laurel Large Grant Committee meeting June 26th at 11 a.m. in the council chambers. We have the City County Planning Board's July 4th meeting has also been moved.
It's 10 a.m. tomorrow.
10 a.m. tomorrow. Did I say that wrong? That's what's written here, but I must have said it wrong.
It was 11, you said.
Okay, see, I need to put my glasses on.
No. That's why I'm here.
Okay, thank you. City County Planning Board, July 4th meeting has been moved to the 11th at 10 a.m. in council chambers. So I do see a conflict here, Nick. We've got Laurel Large Grant Committee meeting June 26th. And no, I don't see it. Now that I look twice through my glasses. Okay, already. Laurel Large Grant has been moved to June 26th at 10 a.m. City County Planning Board has been moved to July 11th at 10 a.m. The Park Board we already heard about. The Tree Board on July 18th has been canceled. Tree Board on August 15th has been canceled. Tree Board on September 19th has been moved to September 12th at 9:30 a.m. in the Public Works Conference Room. The Airport Authority has moved their meeting back to the fourth Tuesday of the month, starting in July. And I do understand we had a Public Works meeting, and the next one will be at the regularly scheduled time. Mr. Montier. Public Works meeting, no changes to that one for July? All righty, fantastic. Review of the council draft agenda. Did anyone see anything that they... Attendance at the upcoming council meeting. Will anyone not be here? Mr. Clousey, maybe. All righty.
I'll be like those people from Oregon and trying to get them to come back to the state.
And I have no other announcements other than the list of changes that will also appear in the minutes in the correct format. And I have Mr. Cope wants to make an...
Yeah, we went rather quickly to the public input. Could I have a minute?
Certainly.
He did Cope. Big funny. Each ward here, I don't know when the borders were set on those, but I was wondering if the council or whomever could take a look at the growth of the city to be considered looking at maybe revising the borders or the perimeters of each ward. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Councilmember Hur.
Yeah, I forgot, but just reminded that tomorrow is that opening of the down at Riverside Park for 212, 1 o'clock tomorrow.
Yes, sir. Yes. Is anyone planning on attending that? All right. Well, represent us well and drive safely when you drive it.
Oh, I'm not gonna drive it, I'm just going down the park and they serve us free food. No.
All right. Well, if that's it, then 1 minute to 7, we are adjourned. Thank you.
Good job. Good job.